What is up, guys? Welcome to part 3 of the Supermoto build series. I'm so stoked for this right now because we have finished up essentially the wheels for the bike. So as you can see right here, bike looks absolutely amazing, right? So I love it. I've been riding it for about a week now. The issue is that we need the speedometer to work. If you guys remember in my past video in part 1 and 2, I said that this speedometer will not work with the hub on this. The speedometer cable is taken off and was replaced with a spacer. So right now my speedo doesn't work. I don't want that to be a thing. Some people think it's not really a big deal, but it definitely is a big deal if you get pulled over or something like that. So we're gonna get this done. I have the Trail Tech Vapor. Probably, I mean, anyone who knows anything about DRZ knows that that's like the absolute go-to for the aftermarket when it comes to speedometers. We've had a little bit of experience on this bike, and riding a Supermoto, I mean, what can I say? It is completely different. I don't even know how to describe it. It sits a little bit lower. It leans so much lower. It is a completely different machine. So, well, right now it's about 11 p.m. No, it's like almost 12 actually. I always do this stuff right after I get off work. I was looking forward to this so much because I go to school, and then at the end of the week when it's like Thursday, if I work or if I don't work, then I get to work on my bike, make some videos for you guys. Really fun stuff. So we're here right now with the bike, and we have the Trail Tech Vapor, like I said. So essentially what we have to do is take off the tank, and I'm just gonna prep it for tomorrow. Tomorrow I don't work till 6, so I'm gonna wake up early and get this stuff cranking, dude, because I want part 3 out there. I want you guys to see this thing done. I think the biggest thing right now is that the main goal of tomorrow is that I want to get the computer on. The second goal would probably be to get the conversion to be able to fit the fatty bars on my bike. That'd be really cool. I don't really like this the 7/8 style. I like the fat bars. It's really nice. So probably some new grips. I gotta take off all these controls. I want to get some new mirrors possibly too. We're gonna do a lot of stuff just to really clean this up, get rid of some of the stuff with surface rust. It's pretty weak. I don't want this kind of cosmetic damage on my bike. I don't want rust, stuff like that. I'm gonna consider leaving this here. I don't know if that's gonna look dumb with the Trail Tech Vapor on and that, so we'll see. But I do like having this, these blinkers, just these flashers for, my lights and stuff for if my bike's overheating, for my high beams, neutral light, and the blinkers. It's really nice to have, so I'm gonna try to keep that. But if I can't, then it is what it is. I know they have dash kits, but I've seen these dash kits and they're so freaking big. That is the issue with these. Like, they look so weird because instead of a sleek unit, it's like it turns into this huge thing, and it's like I don't really want that. I'm not a dual sport rider on this thing. I'm mostly going to be using this on the street, maybe on road trips in the future. Thank you guys for the people who commented on my San Francisco trip. Really fun. I know it wouldn't really get as many views, but I figured, hey, it might be entertaining in the meantime. So, issues with this build. I could already see an issue being the speedometer. To get the speedometer to work with the wheel, you have to essentially drill a magnet into your caliper and then replace one screw or bolt with a magnetic bolt, so it's just like a mountain bike or something. I don't know where I'm gonna mount that if it doesn't work with that location. I'm not exactly sure where I would put this thing, but I guess we'll figure out when I do it, right? So guys, what we're gonna do right now is I'm gonna take off this tank. For taking off the tank, you have to take off a bolt right here and then a bolt on the other side, and then I'm gonna have to take off the seat, obviously. So let me just give you guys a quick time lapse of this, and let's get this tank off. Alright guys, so we have same, no different. It is going to be the 10 mil bolts to take off the seat, then 2 Phillips head bolts on each radiator side for the shrouds, and that should handle that part. Now, I was honestly pretty disappointed with the zip ties and not the hose clamps. When my mechanic took off my hoses and everything to replace my petcock, for whatever reason he thought it was a good idea to replace it with zip ties. So moving on from that, just make sure that you have a little bucket with you to save all the gas and make sure you don't get any on you. So just a quick tip, just to cover up those 2 holes to make sure no dirt or debris gets inside of that, I use 2 fingers of a glove just to make sure it really seals in the flavor. I'm trying to just like make this as foolproof as possible. So bushings right here, I believe these are 10 mil. Make sure to not lose these, and this whole thing should come off. So while wrestling to get the tank off, I noticed that it is easier to just take off both shrouds on each side. This will just allow you to take the tank off with ease, and make sure to not lose those rubber bushings. Once you take off the shrouds, it'll be a lot easier to wiggle this thing off the rubber mounts, and just try your best to finesse the tank off and not muscle it out. Or you could just pull a me and not do anything at all and just stare at it in awe and why it won't come off. Alright man, first issue. What in the hell? I don't know exactly what this is. I'm sure it has to do with the complicated petcock on these DRZs. There is a line right here that's being held on. Yeah, I think you can see it when I do that. So it's being held on by that clamp. I'm gonna take it off and we'll see what happens. Let's try to take that off and then I'll be able to take this tank off. That is the only thing that's holding this thing on. Let's take this off and see if that works. So as you lift up the tank a little bit to expose that hose, that is the last thing that's gonna be holding this thing on, as you see zoomed in right there. Once you have that last hose taken off, the tank should easily come off. So we are gonna get this started tomorrow. Like I said, you guys are gonna blink and I'm gonna be working on it, but I'm gonna have to call it a night. It is around 12:30 a.m. So far, no real hiccups yet. I do need to get something to replace the stupid zip ties. Whoever thought that was a good idea at Access Motorsports, shame on you guys. But we have the tank off, it's fully exposed. Now with this fully being exposed, what's the benefit? You're probably thinking, well, why do you need all of this taken out just to replace the computer and to install something in your caliper? Well, your computer, everything's gonna be wired to your battery, obviously. And given there are plug and play parts to this, there's also parts where, to go around your coil and whatnot, to make sure your tachometer works, to make sure that, you have a temperature reading. There are certain things you have to do that do require you to take off your tank and everything. And me taking off all this too will help me get some dirt off my bike. So let's get some sleep. I'm gonna take a shower. It's been a long day, but I'm happy that I'm preparing this for tomorrow. We're gonna wake up early and let's get this stuff done. So commence me sleeping around 7 hours and you guys see me get to it. So let's just jump straight into this. You're gonna have to take off the light shroud, which has 3 Phillips head bolts, one on the left, one in the middle, and one on the right. Now once you have that shroud off, this might look a little bit intimidating for some people, but all this is just a cover for your wiring to make it waterproofed in this sort of way. Now since I'm simple and I didn't care to look where the connectors were going from the computer to what I actually need to take off, I started taking off random connectors that actually didn't need to be pulled apart in the first place. The easiest way to find the connectors that you need to take off would be to pull off the computer like I am right now and just find those 2 connectors and unplug those, and then you'll be set. And then if you did go full botch and unplugged everything from your bike and disassembled it completely, make sure to just put all that stuff back together before moving on. The next best thing to do would be that when you're opening up your TrailTech Vapor, just lay out all the parts and all the instructions so you can go step by step for each part. What's really nice about this TrailTech Vapor kit is that it comes with really, really good instructions. I honestly wasn't really expecting this. I mean, I wasn't expecting anything in Chinese and whatnot and just really poor diagrams, but this is really nice. It has everything from the sensors to the tack lead, all the way to the sensor on the wheel. So awesome on TrailTech. I'm gonna read over these, go over it thoroughly, see what I need to do first, and then we'll get into the installation. What I want to do right now is just take off this mount, because the Trail Tech Vapor usually comes, like I said, with the plastic mount. A lot of people don't really like these. I don't have anything against them since I've never used them before, but I take a lot of people's advice and I got, bam, this mount. It's like $12.99. So we're gonna throw on this mount. I want to put on the computer just because if I put it on right now, it'll be easier for me to just be able to look at what wires need to go where, and it'll also just give me, it'll just give me a better insight on like what needs to go where, and then I'll start wiring everything together. So for the old mounting bracket, it's just going to be a 10 mil socket, and I'll loosen it up and you can take that right off. Alright, next roadblock with this. So you just saw me take off the mounting bracket for the old computer. I have the small one right here, so we're trying to put it on because it goes on these two holes, but what I didn't notice is that, look at that, there's a chopped bolt still in that. So I'm trying to just grab it and twist it off the best I can. I don't think that's gonna work, so we're gonna have to drill that out and then shove like a Torx bit in it and then try to unscrew it out. So let's get that going and see if that works. Alright guys, as sad as it has to be, I have to take an L for this one. This bolt was just too much to get out. I don't know, maybe it's just because I'm a rookie, but this is really hard to take out. I actually broke two of my bits doing that, so it is what it is. I'm just gonna sand it down, try to make it look a little bit prettier than that, and we're just gonna have one mounting part for the Trail Tech Vapor. Alright, so we just have this thing mounted, and honestly with one it's not that bad. It's not moving at all. I'm not worried about it. I'm just pretty sad that, you know, there was a snapped off bolt in there and I couldn't get it out, but it is what it is. You gotta know when to cut your losses, you know, because that wastes a lot of time. So anyways, right now what I'm doing is I just plugged into the temperature gauge, the internal temperature gauge, and what's nice about the DRZ models for the Trail Tech Vapor is that instead of having to cut the radiator hose on that side, you could actually just unscrew this kind of release valve right here. So I'm going to take that off and replace it with this, and then it should give me an internal temperature gauge on my bike. Just a quick reminder guys, so I just put this on. Remember to never do this when your bike is hot. Your radiator is going to spew out, you know, molten coolant or water or whatever you have in it. Another thing about this is that this thing is so irritating because this little wire, this is pretty minuscule, but the wire doesn't let the bolt free flow. So basically if you spin it, the wire spins with it. So spin it the opposite way and coil it up that way, and then start screwing it on, and then it won't get all kinked up and whatnot. So, and then another thing too, this is a 10 mil bolt. When you put this on, don't apply too much torque. I would say about maybe 3 pounds of torque to it. It really doesn't take much, and I guarantee you it won't come off. So be very gentle with this and delicate. All right, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm going to put on the tachometer wire. The tachometer wire, essentially what this is gonna do is, first off, it goes to your computer. Your computer has a tachometer, pretty cool. The way that it works is you have to just route it underneath through here, zip tie it later. This wire, this red wire, is gonna go around this one, and apparently you wrap it around about 5 or 6 times. I might do it a little bit more than that. This is, you know, obviously the spark plug wire. This is dirty, so I'm just gonna clean this up so I can wrap it up and then also tape it after, just to be extra safe. If it is a little bit jumpy, it is what it is. I'm not gonna tap into it and, you know, wire it into that. That's too much effort in my opinion. This already takes long enough, you know, just the whole process, just figuring it out. But, you know, no complaints here. It's just going relatively smooth. So we're just gonna wrap this around the coil, and then that should take care of the tachometer. So this process actually took me 2 times. What I did the second time was I made this a lot tighter and went around maybe 10 times all up and down the coil. Once you do finish that part, just make sure to button it up a little bit and put some electrical tape around it to make sure that it stays safe and secure. Alright guys, so one thing that I noticed with this is that I'm trying to find where to put power into my Trail Tech. So I noticed that on the SM model, it looks like the wiring is slightly different from the S model. And as I look at this, it looks like what we're gonna have to do is chop this and take that red wire and the black wire, and then we'll be able to plug in the Trail Tech Vapor there. Kind of risky, so this is, I guess, why I'm doing this for you guys. Hopefully this works out, because yeah, I mean, that makes the most sense to me. This goes to the little switches for, you know, if your bike's overheating. This little panel right here, that goes to that. It's not this, obviously. We're gonna have to cover that up. I believe it's this one. I tried to find as many diagrams as I could online. Couldn't really find anything, so it is this one right here. We're gonna go ahead and cut this. I don't think that this will cause any issues with the bike. If it does, I'll just, you know, reconnect it. So why don't we do that and see how that works out. All right guys, so I just chopped that thing off. This is really sketchy because, I mean, I found out that it has power to it when they both touched and created a spark. It scared the crap out of me. So I'm gonna touch that there, and on. Sweet. So cool. That is how you know. So I'm gonna solder these on. It looks like there's solder at the end of these already. So I'm gonna solder this onto that connection, put some heat shrink over that just to make sure it's really secure, and yeah, we'll take it from there. All right, so we have power. These are soldered and heat shrinked on. Look at that. Sweet. Awesome. We have to tidy up these wires. We're gonna do that then though. We have one more thing to do, which is put the speedometer, the actual sole purpose of this thing, onto this bike. So I'm gonna route the wire through here with the brake, run it down, and you know, a lot of people might give me flack about this because it is loose, but this thing, you know, I'm not doing any trail riding or anything, so it's not really gonna catch on to anything serious. So we have to put a magnetic bolt in here, or a magnet in the bolt, and then we're gonna put the other magnet on the caliper. That way it'll pick that up when the wheel spins, and then you're able to program the size of your wheel into the computer to give it a more accurate reading. So for this, the biggest obstacle right now is just figuring out how to mount this just without having any issues. So I've thought about it, and there's just not enough room over here. I really can't think of another way to do it with getting enough contact, you know, getting it close enough to there. People have tried to put it, you know, farther out, and then it doesn't pick it up, so there's the issue with that. I think we're gonna go with this and find a long enough screw to go into this, or bolt. And that way we can bolt this down, put the magnetic bolt in, and then we'll see where that goes. Psych! So I found a different mounting place that would actually fit in between the mounting bracket and the bracket that holds my entire caliper and the relocator kit. So conveniently, as I drilled through the hole, the sensor was able to stay put, and I was able to make a hole straight through to it and put a lag screw right into it. Alright man, so somehow we made this work. We put a bolt right there. Well, this is actually a lag screw. And somehow we made that stuff work, man. So I'm just gonna roll this with it on and see if it picks it up. If it does, God, I hate people. So if that works and this is screwed in, because I mean it's not going anywhere. So yeah, man, that should be good. See if it works. Not trying to rush it, but for video's sake, you know, I can't have too much of the tutorial part done. I mean, I pretty much give you a tutorial on the whole thing. So now I'm just gonna put the camera down, tell you if I run into any hiccups afterwards, just route all these wires, tidy it up, make sure that the thing's working okay, and then get on this bike and actually give you guys a vlog. Okay, bear with me. Alright guys, so we have the bike all buttoned up. Let's see how that Trail Tech Vapor looks. I'm keeping the shield on top just for right now. I was kind of disappointed at first because I noticed that when I turned it on, nothing happened. See my lights on. But then I realized that when I just flipped the switch, I was like, oh, fuck, that is sick. So I'm pretty stoked about this. You guys are gonna see turn on and let's see if it works. I'm really nervous. This is really, I can't hold it. Hold on one sec. Oh yeah, dude. The light comes on when you actually turn on the bike. The tach isn't jumpy at all. Let's check what it's reading. Around 1500 RPMs. Usually when it jumps, you might say, oh, well, it's jumping there. When it jumps, it would usually drop down to like 100 or something ridiculous that's not even readable. But that's awesome. Let's try this out. Oh, that's so sweet. Oh my god. Alright, cool. I'm so stoked about this. I need to make sure that the miles per hour works. I'm kind of worried about that just because the way we have this set up is, here, let me turn off my bike. So that's one thing I'm worried about just because the way I mounted it. Oh, I remember to put these bolts on. Whew. Close call. So I need to put this back on. But anyways, I mounted it right here with a lag screw. And this thing, you know, just when I push on it, this is just the rubber part, but when I push on it, it really, it doesn't move much at all. So I just need to bolt that back on and then we'll see if the speedometer works when I take it for a test ride. You already know what time it is. It is time to try this thing out. Dude, I am so stoked on it. I need to get that out. Hold on. I'm so stoked. This thing is on. We lost a lot of gas from that whole incident, so I can't ride it too much. But I could definitely give you guys a quick demo. So, sorry if it sounds like I'm trembling. It's because I'm just shaking like a little girl. This thing is really small. Like, I didn't think I don't know, I guess I didn't think it'd be that small. Wow, this thing is so cool. Look at it. Dude, okay, ready? Oh, the bike's gotta be on. Oh yeah. Oh, look at the tach. Oh, that's awesome. It's 2, it's almost 3. Okay, look at the tach, dude. Oh yeah. Alright, the miles per hour on my old speedometer worked even when I was just rolling backwards. That kind of worries me that nothing happened, but this thing does lag a little, but hey, as long as it works, that's all I need. So let's try this out. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I need to make sure to set it to my right wheel size, but oh yeah, dude. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, yeah dog. Yeah, dog. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Oh yes. Oh, what a happy day. Oh yeah. Oh my god. No neutral light. I need to figure that out, but wow. That is all I'm gonna say. This thing, very, very cool. It tells me my temperature. It tells the air temperature. It says 87. Let's fact check that. Dude. Okay, now it says 88. But wow, that's pretty on it. We'll see how on it that really is. But oh my god, I'm so stoked. It keeps saying that my temperature is rising. This thing is so cool. This is such a cool little unit. I honestly wouldn't mind if it was bigger, but I guess now I can really get a dash because honestly all this negative space with all these wires, it doesn't really do it for me. So I actually might just get a dash now, but now we got to move on to the handlebars, guys, because these things kill me. It's so ugly. I already took off my bark busters, handguards, whatever you want to call them. I'm going to get new grips. I'm going to get new handlebars. I might take off these mirrors, get low mirrors. Let's see what happens. But this was the Trail Tech Vapor install. I'm going to leave the handlebars for part 4. I'm so stoked about this. It has my mileage. It has the air temperature, which is going up on that, but not that's where it's inaccurate because it's too close to the engine. And then you can set your time. I like 24-hour time just because I'm used to military time. And that shows the temperature of my bike. That is so cool, dude. I don't want to touch the radiator, but that's awesome. That is so awesome. I'm gonna do a vlog on this, and we're gonna drag some pig. It's gonna be really fun. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, man. And you know, we have one more part to the Supermoto build series. Hang in there with me, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please give me a like, share, subscribe, whatever whatever you guys honestly think. If you want to tell me something about my bike, if you want to give me some insight, say hey, maybe you should do it this way, please tell me. But anyways, thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you guys next time.